General physiology. Physiology is the study of normal functioning of various systems of living organisms. Milieu interior. Claude Bernard, who was a French physiologist, was the first one to introduce the concept of milieu interior, which means the internal environment of the body. The cells can perform their functions properly only when the internal C or the internal environment of the body is kept as a constant. Internal C is the extracellular fluid. Claude Bernard made 4 remarkable observations. The 4 remarkable observations are: the first observation is the volume and composition of the fluid are maintained constant independent of the changes in the environment in which the animal lives. The second observation was he observed the fluid in the body as internal environment to differentiate it from the external environment of the body. The third observation was ability to regulate internal environment is the major reason for humans and animals to live a normal life in spite of the changes and challenges imposed on them by the external environment. The fourth observation was he distinguished the difference between intracellular fluid and extracellular fluid and proposed ECF as the internal environment of the body. Homeostasis. The term homeostasis was coined by W.B. Cannon. Homeostasis is defined as the maintenance of the dynamic constancy of the internal environment in spite of the changing external environment due to the proper functioning of the regulatory systems in our body. The disturbance of homeostasis may lead to deranged cellular functions, and it also causes disease to the human body. There are certain variables which have to be maintained within a narrow range by the physiological process. The variables are blood glucose levels, arterial blood pressure, body temperature, oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the arterial blood. The factors that have to be regulated for maintenance of homeostasis are body temperature, blood pH, plasma electrolytes like sodium, potassium, calcium, plasma osmolality, oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the arterial blood, plasma blood glucose levels, arterial blood pressure. Also, the supply of nutrients, oxygen, enzymes, hormones, removal of metabolites and waste products also have to be regulated for proper maintenance of homeostasis. So all these factors are regulated by positive and negative feedback mechanisms. Regulation of homeostasis. The homeostasis is regulated by operation of various control systems in our body. For example, the respiratory system and nervous system together operate to regulate the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the arterial blood. The control system detects changes in the variables of internal environment and respond to the changes so that the variables are maintained within a normal range. The operation of control systems for regulation of variables are through feedback systems. Feedback regulation. There are 2 types of feedback regulation: positive feedback regulation and negative feedback regulation. Many regulatory systems in our body operate through negative feedback regulation. Negative feedback regulation. In this type of regulation, if a particular activity is increased or decreased, the control system initiates a chain of actions by which the activity returns back to normal. Also, in this system, the receptor senses the change in the variable, then the impulses reaches the control center, which further activates compensatory mechanisms that will bring back the deranged variable to within normal limits. Example of negative feedback regulation could be regulation of arterial blood pressure. So, when there is increase in arterial blood pressure, it is sensed by baroreceptors. Then the impulses are carried by 9th and 10th cranial nerves and they reach cardiovascular regulatory centers in medulla. They inhibit vasomotor center and stimulate cardiac vagal center, which decreases heart rate and also decreases stroke volume. So cardiac output is decreased. So arterial blood pressure decreases and brought back to normal. So here increase in blood pressure has stimulated the control system, which moved in opposite directions and brought back blood pressure to normal. The other examples of negative feedback regulation could be regulation of body temperature, regulation of pH, regulation of blood glucose levels, regulation of thyroid hormone secretion. Positive feedback regulation. This type of regulation happens only in a few instances in the body. The positive feedback system is called vicious cycle system because the initial stimulus reinforces the original stimulus, and in many instances it can lead to instability rather than stability. Here the output of the control system is enhanced or amplified so that the controlled variable continues to move in the direction of initial change. There are 5 main examples of positive feedback regulation. The first is parturition reflex, which is initiated by oxytocin. So at the end of term, there is increase in sensitivity of oxytocin receptors. Oxytocin binds to its receptor and induces contraction of uterine muscles. So there will be contraction of uterus and descent of fetal head, which causes stretch of cervix. Then stimulation of stretch receptors in the cervix causes the impulse to travel through afferent sensory nerves. The impulse then reach hypothalamus. Then there will be secretion of oxytocin from hypothalamus and there will be more contraction of uterus, further descent of head, and the cycle continues till the fetus is born. The next example could be LH surge, luteinizing hormone surge. Increase in LH secretion leads to ovulation. Normally, estrogen inhibits LH secretion, but before ovulation, the estrogen provides positive feedback to the LH secretion, which results in LH surge. Hodgkin's cycle. In this cycle, sodium influx causes upstroke or depolarization of the nerves or muscles action potential. Opening of few sets of sodium channel provides positive feedback for opening of other sodium channels that result in massive sodium influx causing depolarization. Activation of digestive enzymes. Pepsinogen is activated by pepsin. Trypsinogen is activated by trypsin. The final example of positive feedback regulation could be enzyme cascade hypothesis of coagulation. According to this hypothesis, activation of one clotting factor acts as an enzyme to activate the next clotting factor in the coagulation cascade. So the positive feedback regulation could be either fatal or it could be much useful. An example where positive feedback regulation could be fatal is when there is a loss of blood more than 2 liters, there will be decreased blood supply to the coronary vessels and there will be weakening of heart muscles. So there will be decreased pumping efficiency of the heart, which causes further decrease in coronary blood flow and further weakening of heart muscles. So this is a very fatal situation. This process repeats until a blood transfusion is given and the blood loss is corrected only from external sources. So here the initiating stimulus caused more of the same and has created a vicious cycle. An example where the positive feedback mechanism is much useful. When there is an injury to blood vessel, coagulation process is initiated, coagulation proceeds, many enzymes are activated which will activate other clotting factors, then further coagulation happens, more clotting factors are activated, this continues till a clot is formed and the vascular injury is sealed. So through the operation of negative and positive feedback mechanisms, the internal environment of the body is maintained a constant.